Okay, so stay with me here. You've noticed it too, right? You've seen how much we obsess over nostalgia and crave it like no other. You've seen how the internet romanticizes eras they were never a part of firsthand. You've seen how treacherous the modern world has become, to the point where old media formats have experienced generational comebacks. You've seen how brands hijack and weaponize it to boost their sales in the name of appealing to the good old days. Nostalgia is a paradox of emotions. It's one of the few feelings that hurts as much as it feels right. And yet we're repeatedly enchanted by this thing that isn't physically tangible, always trying to capture it like lightning in a bottle. So why is it that we just can't get enough of our days of old and relentlessly yearn for better times? Is there a proper way to relive the magic without tuning out the present or shutting down the future? Or are we just destined to chase our past selves back into our old ways?
Back into my old ways again. Back into my old ways again. Back into my old ways again.
The internet is just in love with nostalgia because we're afraid to move forward. Like that's basically what it is. It's like people are just like, that's what Tumblr is. That it's just like we don't want to move forward because we're afraid, because we see our mistakes so fast now.
We soundtrack our lives to the things that we love. And I think that's another reason we hold on to some things so closely. There are reasons I don't shut up about Daft Punk. There's reasons I don't shut up about Cowboy Bebop. There's reasons I don't shut up about my favorite things, period. Those things make me feel something that I've never felt before. It's very interesting how we romanticize different aspects of life when we probably forgot the problems we were dealing with during it. You may miss being 16 again, but I bet 16-year-old you didn't want to get old at all.
Great, a wannabe preacher with a gun.
Time in general is just a very vicious thing. Regret kills people the same way nostalgia can. I remember finding all this wonderful music on my own, Daft Punk and Gorillaz, The White Stripes, Empire of the Sun, binge watching all these stray music videos that would show up on my YouTube recommended at, 12-year-old me who had unsupervised internet access at that point. I remember doodling in comic books and even still having some from back then. It's hard to read a lot of the handwriting and make out what the hell I was doing with the character designs, but I remember them, and I still have those books and occasionally flip through them to see if I was onto something. I remember playing Minecraft and Skylanders on the old Xbox 360, and even eventually, when I was old enough to sneak downstairs, Black Ops 1 Zombies.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
Just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
I remember trying so hard to beat a lot of the records on Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. To this day, I've not beaten my mother's record on the basketball three-point contest. I remember waltzing around malls and aquariums as a kid, again, just not thinking too critically about what I was seeing, but just absorbing it for what it was. I remember the morning cartoons, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, even old DreamWorks and Pixar movies, and just being so excited or terrified when I heard a certain program come on. I remember scrambling so bad when 9 p.m. rolled around and Cartoon Network became Adult Swim, and I knew I shouldn't have been watching that, but I remember being in awe watching Back to the Future or Star Wars for the first time, thanks to my dad, who showed me that good media can exist beyond my lifetime, a pattern I would definitely hold on to given half the shit I like now is pre the year I was born.
I noticed something else about her, too.
What?
She was really beautiful.
And I guess as a kid, you're not supposed to really understand anything. You're just supposed to look and see it for what it is at absolute face value and not think deeper about that. You lose that innocence and purity at some point, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly when that is. Somewhere around age 15, 16, I just look back and can say, wow, Nothing has been the same since that moment.
My childhood heroes call me bipolar.
I know some people talk about being nostalgic for a time they weren't even around for, but there's just something about it. And I guess that's the thing. Nostalgia blinds us from all negatives. It makes you want to remember only the good. And maybe that's not a bad thing. It's hard to find good things these days when it feels like everything is falling apart.
Because it hurts so bad to realize how fucked up the rest of the world is.
So maybe that's one of the reasons we hold on to stuff so tightly. We knew what we had. We knew it was good. We look back on it and we still know it's good. Maybe the reason nostalgia cripples people so much is because we don't get as much goodness anymore. It's easier to turn to a time where you knew what you had and knew that not everything was out to get you. Or at least you didn't know it was coming. There was just less to burden you. Life was simpler. I remember, my biggest worries when I was 10 was, does the girl like me back? What Daft Punk album am I going to listen to while I do homework? And what game am I going to play after I'm done with my homework? That was my biggest concern. And now I'm 20, over halfway through college. I've dealt with a lot of terrible things, but that hasn't stopped me from being who I am. You just didn't have to worry about that when you were a kid. For a brief moment of time, you were safe. You had a window where you could do whatever you wanted, which is also such a narrow scope because you knew so little, so what you knew is all you thought was out there. I think this illusion lingers so much because we just want safety again. We want comfort. If there was a way to strip all these burdens off of us permanently, I think most people would do it in a heartbeat. This stuff shaped us to who we are now. You wouldn't be who you are now, currently trying to make some kind of difference in the world, if you didn't go through all those things, as good or as bad or just genuinely traumatizing as they might have been. They're part of your makeup now. They're part of what makes you, you. The only way to figure things out is to go through them.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain.
Nostalgia is inherently crippling. I mean, we want to go back so bad and you just can't. Because if you then live in the past, you miss the present, and then you start being so terribly unprepared for the future. You just hit a point where you can't afford to really do that anymore. We almost need it to keep going, to remind us that good times do exist, and maybe in hindsight a lot of things were better or worse than we remember. Because you really don't know the good old days until you leave them and can comfortably look back. You reflect and realize if you thought that was bad back then, well, it got a whole lot worse. The right people and things are timeless. They'll find a way to stay in the picture even if they leave the frame for a bit. It's okay to miss things, but in some cases you need to remember why they aren't around anymore. But at the same time, with the modern world seemingly always in turmoil, maybe escaping to our past isn't just nostalgic, it's necessary.